And the board meeting was called to order at around 5:15 p.m. today, with the board going directly into executive session under the following ORS. ORS 192.6602D, to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. It is now 6:07 p.m. and we are reconvening. We're reconvening our meeting with the public session, which is a business session. All board members are present. We will now move to our land acknowledgement, and we have Director Avila reading the land acknowledgement this evening.
Thank you. We are gathered today on the land of the Kalapuya, who are represented by the Confederate Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederate Tribes of the Siletz Indians. The relationship between the Kalapuya people and this land continues unbroken to this day, and we offer gratitude for the land and for the generations present and past who have stewarded the land since time immemorial. We respectfully acknowledge and honor the past, present, and future Native American and Indigenous students and staff of Salem-Keizer Public Schools. We invite you to join us in honoring these ancestral grounds and celebrating the resilience and strength of all Native American and Indigenous people.
Thank you. We'll now do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the Republic of God. Next, we have agenda modifications. Superintendent Castañeda, are there any modifications to the agenda?
Not tonight.
Great, thank you. Okay, now for the exciting part. This is number 4 on our agenda, swearing in our new board members and our student advisors to the board for 2023-24. So first, we will have the swearing in of Cynthia Richardson for Zone 2. Come on over, Cynthia. Over to you. We're going to go up by the flag here.
Right works. Just fine. Raise your right hand.
I, Cynthia Richardson, do solemnly affirm that I will support
the
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the State of Oregon,
of the State of Oregon,
and the policies of the Salem-Keizer
and the policies of the Salem-Keizer
Public School District.
Public School District.
During my term,
During my term,
I will faithfully
I will faithfully
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
the responsibilities
the responsibilities
of the office
of the office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
you
Welcome
very
to the
much.
school board. Next, I will swear in Director Satya Chandragiri. I, Satya Chandragiri,
I, Satya Chandragiri,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Oregon,
the Constitution and laws of State of Oregon,
and the policies of the Salem-Keizer Public School District.
and the policies of the Salem-Keizer Public School District.
During my term,
During my term,
I will faithfully
I will faithfully
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
the responsibilities of the office
the responsibilities of the office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And next, we will have Chrissy Hudson. I, Chrissy Hudson,
I, Chrissy Hudson,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the State of Oregon,
of the State of Oregon,
and the policies
and the policies
of the Salem-Keizer Public School District.
of the Salem-Keizer.
During my term, I will faithfully and impartially
And impartially
discharge the responsibilities
discharge the responsibilities
of the office
of the office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. Yes.
Congratulations. Student Advisor Patrick Hersig Gutierrez. Okay, raise your right hand. I, Patrick Hersig Gutierrez,
I, Patrick Hersig Gutierrez,
as a student of Salem-Keizer
as a student of Salem-Keizer
Public Schools,
Public Schools,
and as the appointed
and as the appointed
student advisor to the school board,
student advisor to the school board,
do hereby affirm my commitment
do hereby affirm my commitment
to represent all students
to represent all students
and bring the voice of all students
and bring the voice of all students
to the school board.
to the school board.
Hey, congratulations. And Linda Pappas, our second student advisor to the school board. Yes, they stayed in order. I, Linda Pappas,
I, Linda Pappas,
as a student of Salem-Keizer
as a student of Salem-Keizer
Public Schools,
Public Schools,
and as the appointed student advisor
and as the appointed student advisor
to the school board,
to the school board,
do hereby affirm
do hereby affirm
my commitment
my commitment
to represent all students
to represent all students
and bring the voice of all students
and bring the voice of all students
to the school board.
to the school board. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to get some pictures for folks that were just sworn in with their family members and friends. Aw. do them separately and stuff too.
Who's sitting next to him? Is that your dad?
No, that's Javier. And a good friend of mine. His son just graduated from. Okay, great. So that takes us to number 5, election of new board officers for 23-24. Okay, so I'm going to start the process, but first I'm going to turn it over to our attorney, Mr. Decopoulos, who will provide directions.
Thank you. This is the time when the board would offer nominations for board chair. If there's only one nomination, then by voice vote, we'll just vote right then. Nominations do not need a second. So if there's more than, if there's any nominations, it does not need to be seconded. If there's more than one, then we'll do a voice vote, and the majority would elect the next chair.
Great. Okay, and people can decline if they're nominated?
They can decline if they are nominated.
Okay,
And self-nominate, I would assume.
and self-nominate?
There's no
Just for
legal,
clarity.
there's no legal rules around nominating yourself.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay. That was a question from Director Guzman Ortiz.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so now I will open the nominations for chair. Are there nominations? I have one, but, okay. I would like to nominate Director Guzman Ortiz for chair.
Nominate myself.
Do you accept?
I do, thank you. Yes.
Are there other nominations for chair? Okay. So we call the vote? Okay, all those in favor of electing Director Guzman Ortiz chair, say aye and raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Congratulations, Chair. Do you want to sit here?
We can sit here, right?
It's like ceremonial.
It's like ceremonial. All right, let's. I brought a lot of stuff with me today, so there's that. I know that's right. I don't think they knew that one down there, but.
Mom, there's a lot of stuff. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You.
We get things done. Look at. Well, thank you all. Guess with that, we'll actually proceed on to vice chair and second vice chair. So go ahead and.
Just ask if there's a nomination for vice chair.
All right, do we
Vice
have a
chair.
nomination for vice chair? I have one if no one else does. I think this is the
Yeah.
seat. I'd like to nominate Osvaldo Avila for vice chair.
Accept.
I run the vote.
No, you asked for, are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations? Chrissy? Yeah, go ahead. Maria.
I will decline the nomination, but thank you.
Well, with that then,
Any other nominations?
looking over there. All right. No other nominations, so we can do a vote. All those in favor of Director Osvaldo Avila as Vice Chair, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Unanimous vote, so congratulations,
Thank you.
Mr. Avila. And we'll move on to second Vice Chair. I think I got this. Any nominations for second Vice Chair?
I nominate Ashley Carson Cunningham.
Accept. Thank you. Any other nominations?
Thank you.
All right. Well, no other nominations. With that, we'll go ahead and take a vote for second Vice Chair for Director Carson Cunningham. All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous vote. All right. Well, with that, then we move on to our next agenda item, Community Partnership Highlights, which it is an honor to bring on our community partner, Capaces Leadership Institute. Serendipity, here we are. I'm pleased to introduce a community partner to share information about their work in our community. And as most of you know, we do have a routine community spotlight at every business meeting during the school year. Our community spotlights give us the opportunity to learn about and celebrate individual and organizations that are making a difference for youth and our community of Salem-Keizer. So with it being July, being that we are in summer break and we're in this transitional phase, our community spotlights specifically get a summer vacation. So for the months of July and August, we will hear from 2 community organizations and learn more about their work. And today we welcome Executive Director of the Capaces Leadership Institute, Jaime Arredondo, and Anáhuac Program Manager, Javier Lara, who will highlight Anáhuac's farm's contributions to sustainable agriculture and service for indigenous communities to create a positive impact in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm so excited for you all to share with us all more about the work of Capaces and Anáhuac, so bienvenidos.
Buenas tardes, good afternoon, esteemed board members. Welcome, Superintendent Castañeda. Happy to have you here. My name is Jaime Arredondo. Again, I'm the Executive Director of the Capaces Leadership Institute. I've been residing in this area, the Salem area, for now 33 years. And I have the honor of running the Capaces Leadership Institute, whose mission is to strengthen the wellness, the capacity, the political consciousness of leaders, organizations, movements to eliminate social disparities. Today, we have, before I go there, I also have 3 daughters, one in 2nd grade this September at Harriet, 2 more coming your way, and a 4th one coming in December also. Going to be here in Salem-Keizer School District. They're in great hands. I believe they're in great hands. So to pass the mic on to my colleague here, Javier Lara, I want to give you an offering via story. And this is a way of me telling about who we are, where we come from. The story is about a child and an elder that live way south in a remote area. The child and the elder had a great relationship. This very impoverished village, material-wise, but they had this well. And the child would follow very closely the elder, who taught that child how to grow food, how to grow the milpa, the three sisters, corn, beans, and squash, how to make food with what they grew, how to care for the animals, how to care for the plants, how to make their own huaraches, their own shoes, and how to be in harmony with Mother Earth in general. And oftentimes the child would go to the elder and say, hey, how do I become as wise as you? How do I become as wise as you? The elder would say, go to the well. Go to the well. The child would go to the well and look into the well, this deep well. Be like, I don't get it. Go back to the elder and say, I don't understand. How do I become as wise as you? The elder would say, go to the well. The child would go once again to the well. Still didn't understand it. And so time passed, and the child had to go up north, El Norte. Some say that she landed here in Salem, Oregon, perhaps, or maybe it was Woodburn. North Salem High School, perhaps, or maybe it was McKay. And that child integrated very successfully, and one day the elder passed, the grandma passed, and it really hurt her, because she couldn't go back because the border would divide them. Couldn't go back. So the child said, I'm gonna honor my grandmother. I'm gonna be very successful. She was very successful. Made it to the big time in this dominant culture. But she would often think about the grandmother, the elder. And one day, perhaps it was a COVID night, one of those lonely nights, she was having a hard time sleeping. Hard time sleeping. And all of a sudden she went to sleep. And the elder came to her and asked her, did you find what you were looking for? Did you find what you were looking for? And right away, that child, now an elder knew that the well was inside her. It had always been inside her all this time. So with that, I want to share a little bit of our well here, now with my compañero, my colleague Javier Lara. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, my name is Javier Lara, and thank you so much for sharing this spot with all of you. I really want to just kind of brief go through what the program is about. I think one of the beautiful things that we need to understand is that the demographics are changing so much. Like if we look at Woodburn, for example, there's a lot of youth, a lot of students who go to the school districts here. Salem is another example. That they come from the South. They're very rich in culture and tradition. A lot of them, they grew up here. Mom and dad, they still speak, for example, a native language. To give you an example, we have about 64 active languages down what now is called Mexico. And out of those languages, we have about 300 derivatives. Right? So very rich in culture and tradition. But a lot of these youth do not know this, right? So they grew up here. So now what basically, it pays attention to this amazing change, right? So with this in mind, we focus on the richness of the displacement of our people coming from the South, coming from many directions, and settling here, right? And now these kids growing up in this culture. So what do they have to offer to the community in general? So if we move to the next slide, we are so rich. And one of the things we try to focus to this youth is you come from a very rich culture, right? We come from some of the greatest civilizations in the world. We have given so much to humanity. There's only 6 great civilizations in the whole world. There's 2 in this continent, right? So Anahuac is one of them. In fact, the first document written in Spanish, during the colonial times, it was recognized as Anahuac, right? It comes from the Nahuatl language, and it means surrounded by water, and it just summarizes the beauty of what it means in this mural. And so, again, we move to the next slide, and we're trying to show what the program that we do focus on, right? So we are very holistic in the sense that we try to provide to our youth not just the agricultural aspect, because we evolved with the 3 sisters. Agriculture help us settle as a civilization in this continent, but also languages, right? Again, a lot of communities here, they speak Mam, they speak Zapotec, they speak Mixtec, they speak Nahuatl, right? They speak Soque, so many different languages. But also, the gastronomy behind, right? The industries know about this. There's so much gastronomy in this in the Mexican culture. Now you see it even in the chain in the chain of fast food industry, right? Well, we are so rich that We want the youth to know there's more than burrito and there's more than enchilada, right? So we focus on gastronomy, cultural arts. There's so much behind textiles, clay, basket weaving, name it. There's so many that we also try to teach the youth. Also the wellness, right? How we see the world. How do we see life? How do we see Salem based on our cosmological view of who we are, where we come from, based on the roots of where we come from. That's another aspect that we try to show the youth. If we move to the next slide, again, our stories are very rich. We're talking about 10,000 years, right? That we have a very strong ancestral relationship with plants, with the staple foods that we have provided for the whole world, right? Corn came from this continent, rice came from another continent, wheat came from another continent. We also have our 2 cents for humanity. This youth need to know this, right? They need to know tomato comes from this culture. Avocado comes from this culture. In fact, tomato is the original name for tomato. Comes from the Nahuatl language. Avocado comes from a Nahuatl language as well. So again, they need to know this, right? So the focus of the program, it keeps going under this richness and culture and tradition. So we move along to the next slide. All these beautiful wild plants, we try to grow them with the youth. We try to expose them to the youth to live the whole cycle of these staple foods. What a lot of people that are farmers here call them weeds, we call them amazing foods. And they do learn how to eat them. They do learn how to cook them. And we move on next to the next slide. So with this in mind, in Tuner, Oregon, we have this farm, 60 acres, and right now we are in the process of adopting specifically native corn seeds, native varieties that are very symbolic to the culture where a lot of these youth come from. So they are learning directly about this specific items, this specific foods, from seeds to transplanting to germination, and then what to do with it, right? And in the next slides, I basically want to just kind of summarize with pictures the amazing journey with the Salem-Keizer Public School District, and especially the middle schoolers who have been coming to the farm and having this direct encounter with all the beautiful things that they encounter. So again, this is some of the harvest that we had. Corn that you're never going to see in the industrial main conventional agriculture, because they're not really for profit. It's just, again, the cultural relationship that we have with the specific corns. It's more about what unique foods you can make out of it. Why this specific culture has been making this specific dish with this specific corn and for that specific purpose. Same thing with the peppers, right? The squash. So again, we move again to the other slides. This is a summary of some of the 7 varieties of corn that are adapted to this amazing soil, this amazing weather, this amazing climate, this amazing altitude. There's a lot of potential. And now this is the corn that the youth are growing at the farm. So we move forward, please. We also, again, teach them the relationship with herbal plants that belong to this continent, and they learn the name, they learn what to do with it. This is an amazing picture of how they cut in the roots, how they making their own tea, and then they have to also drink it. They have to taste it. So we keep moving along, please. This is a beautiful shot because you can see some of the kids didn't even want to touch the soil at the beginning of the program, right? Now look at them, they're so proud. Look at my muddy hands, right? Look at my hands touching Mother Earth. So again, this is another example of how they're transplanting. They germinated their own peppers. They transplanted it. In this slide, you can see how they did it. We move forward, please. This is another amazing project that we did with them, probiotics, right? How to make the good bacteria, right? What is good for you, what it does to you, and it comes from the corn in this example. We move forward, please. They also learn how to inoculate mushrooms, right? So you can see right there, they drill in the logs, they put in the plugs, the mycelium, and they seal them, and you can even experience how loud they can scream when they find a bug among those logs. So all these amazing stories are being created in this partnership. We move forward, please. And this is another good example of how they make herbal, handmade artisanal soap. We keep going, please. Also, here they're harvesting the fresh wild herbs, and they also make tinctures. They make teas, stirrups with it, and we keep moving forward, please. Again, just a quick summary of what this relationship is about, the potential behind, the beauty behind, and of course the challenges behind. This is an amazing picture in the center. If you go back, please. This is all the some of the core groups who the middle schoolers who came and how excited they were by getting a certificate of accomplishment. Once they went through the whole program, the pilot program that we did before the summer. And again, I just want to highlight this and share with all of you. And thank you so much for this relationship. And I'm looking forward what's ahead of us. I hope there's many more memories that we can share perhaps next year. Thank you so much. And I'm really
Thank you. Are there questions or comments? Go ahead, Osvaldo. Director Avila.
Thank you. You might want to get back to the mic there. What are the goals for after the students here are learning this and then they've harvested? What are the next expectations of them or aspirations that you have?
I think there's many. I think one of the goals is that the youth, a lot of times, a lot of their parents come from farm worker communities, so they have this stereotype that to be a farm worker or to be on the farm, be next to the land or the plants, is maybe not the best place to be at. So we dream by having these beautiful memories, it can change their mentality. That's one example. The other term is that they know the richness of their culture, the symbolic and the historical aspect of how powerful we are when you know who you are in the heart and what you have given to the world, hands-on, because this is a legacy for 10,000 years. So if a youth can learn that by growing this amazing corn that belongs to so many generations before he or she, and now he or she is growing it and looking at the hands, we dream that this can also impact them in a very beautiful way in the long term of the journey in life, right? And of course, the other thing is common sense. They can come and learn how to do things that with the hand and the mind, not just reading a paper, but practical meanings of putting your hands on and accomplish what you're being taught, and seeing the results. There's so many goals. Just to share some examples.
Appreciate that. I'm going to be reaching out to you. Maybe you can present to our Higher Education Corning Commission.
I will definitely be happy to.
Thank you so much. We have one more question or comment before you leave, Javier. Director Chandagiri.
Thank you very much, Chair. And thank you for this lovely presentation. As immigrants, it really is important, at least I see, for us to be authentically connected to our roots so that it can withstand all kinds of pressures when we come to this country. As you know, I'm a first-generation immigrant and most of their parents are first generation. It's almost like we are building new home on an old foundation. So it's really helpful to feel solid inside. And I see the value of your program in helping our children so that they can withstand all kinds of pull and push and having to be themselves authentically and not be something else because of the pressure outside, and still be able to contribute in a community with a pluralistic community. What is the capacity? The question is, what's the capacity and how do you see this kind of scaling up? Because we have like 42, majority of our kids are coming from South America or Mexico and with a lot of very rich roots. So how can we scale this up and what's your plan for scaling it up every year? There's a good reach rather than just a small sample.
Yeah, there's a lot of dreams ahead of us. Some of the most amazing that I want to highlight is that, as a native of this continent, I come from the Nahua people. It's still a challenge in this culture to separate, to understand the universal aspect of this continent of being a Native American. So a lot of us are seen as Mexicans, not as Native Americans. But one of the beautiful things is that among us is that we try to partnership, and be in brotherhood with sisters and brothers of the north of this continent, the natives of this continent, and of course, be an example of we are all natives, and then it's been the same relationship that they have, we also have it. The cosmovision that they have, we also have it. Our ceremonies are so similar. It is so core to us to unify and create, this 60 acres as a sanctuary with natives from any direction can come and be in relationship with the oak tree, with the oak savanna, for example, with the elderberries, with the native plants, the wapato, so, and then our use as natives also teach them with their plants, about their plants and their relationship, and then how they teach us. In a very universal way, again, because we have so much in common. That's one example that we dream of on the long term. The other one is that all these communities who are here, and for example, we work really closely with the Farm Worker Housing Development Corporation. A lot of the residents in these communities are farm workers, and they are not native Spanish speakers. They don't speak English. Of course, they're native speakers on their own language. So for us is that in the long term that they can be mixtecs in a land where they feel to be free to be a mixtec. And if they're Zapotecs, they feel beautiful and free to be Zapotecs, right? Because right now, a lot of them feel like they're in a foreign culture, in a foreign land, and they don't want to open up to be who they are. Anáhuac is that place where you can be who you are and be proud of your native roots and everything that you have to share with humanity, again, in this valley, for example. So we dream to have people from different directions and bring their plants, bring their seeds, and then be able to grow them and keep the relationship going. Another example is we want to provide healthy food, culture appropriate to our community that we serve. So they can also eat healthy, and they can also make sure that what they bring in their mouth and sharing with their kids, it's what they grew up with, and they're really proud about it. That's another example.
Go ahead, Dr. Hudson.
Curious as far as some of your future plans go and the growth on that topic. So I'm from the Salets family. So have you had the chance in those plans or thoughts to kind of integrate the children of our local tribal Grand Round Kalapuya Salets and such? I think that would be very neat because, like you said, I was watching it and thinking, it's very similar. And I think for joining our youth and for one day when we all aren't here, it would be kind of a neat thing, I think.
Absolutely. We have a cultural exchange with the Crow Nation in Montana. We live in the 16th. Almost 3/4 of the team is going there to support and be in service with the community. After, right when we come back, we have a meeting with the Grand Road Federation for a future project together. I share about bringing the oak savanna back and 20 acres of the land. We want to do in partnership with the tribal communities here. So there's a lot of beautiful possibilities in the near future, and that's, we truly believe that we can do this with them. Again, we have so much in common, and yeah, we're looking forward to do it in partnership.
I'll look forward to watching.
Another thing, just, Chemawa School, we want to be in partnership with them. We have a mini Anáhuac in McLaren Correctional. Every Wednesday, we do exactly the same thing that we do outside, but on a smaller level, with the youth who are incarcerated, all the minors, and we do exactly the same thing inside. So there's no limits, That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, no limits. Thank you.
All right, I think we're just on time, so let's do one more. And
So I really appreciate. Now, are you incorporating this shared history as part of curriculum in teaching our children? Because there's a law that says the shared history has to be taught across K-12. Is this included under the Senate Bill 13, I believe? It's a shared history law?
No, we
No?
No, we don't have any curriculum in that sense of follow curriculums. We just do it more from the cultural perspective of what we do.
Thank you.
as community partners. Thank you so much, Javier. Thank you so much, Jaime. I really appreciate you both being here. Yes, yes. If you have not been out, please do. I've been known to meander around there for sure. It's a beautiful place. Yes, yes. And you can find them on social media and see all of the beautiful activities, beautiful flowers. So please do. At this point, we want to thank all of our guests for our new elected board members and our student advisors, but we will ask for our guests to please transition as well, as we will proceed with the next portion of our meeting with our board directors and our district representatives. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
And also, as folks are transitioning, I just want you to know that I only know about a dozen people in Salem-Keizer, but they are texting me and asking that we speak more directly into the mic. So just to make sure everybody can hear us on Zoom, if you guys can lean right into that hot mic.
Thank you. New technology, different settings, so thanks for bearing with us, and we'll take the feedback. So today we kiss our mics. With that, I will transition over to reports and presentations. I'll hand this part over to Superintendent Castañeda to provide a brief overview of transition plan.
Yes, thank you so much. I will be unable to be anything other than embarrassingly enthusiastic. So for just this meeting, I'm just going to be that way. I can't help it. I am so excited and honored and just downright privileged to be part of the Salem-Keizer community, part of this body, and also part of the Salem-Keizer Public Schools team. I am going to spend only a few minutes on the transition plan. It's in your packet for board members. It's available for the public on the website. And I'll just offer two quick comments about it. The first that I want to offer is that I do make the effort to share a few things about myself in it, and I want to pull up one of those things now. The entire reason that I do this work, and the reason that it feels like a life passion, is the opportunity to create like truly equitable. And to dedicate yourself to a lifetime of work of equity means taking the time to define it for yourself, which is a surprisingly challenging thing to do. And so I'll just share something. You're going to hear me come back to this in various ways, many, many times. But for me, a truly spectacularly and equitable school system is one in which both youth and adults have recurring, accessible opportunities to grow into their best selves. And that means we have to see each other, like really see each other, and see the ways in which everyone around us is wonderful and is imperfect and needs help and has the opportunity to help. We can create those schools. And that is the reason that I love this job and am just so delighted to be here today. I'll offer one more quick thing about the plan, and for anyone who chooses to read it, and I will understand if that is very few people, I will just say that I hope you feel my earnest desire to really be a learner with you, but still be urgent and be ready to jump right into action, do everything we can to be part of this team and really contributing part of this community. So I think with that, I will hand it back to you, Chairwoman.
So much, Superintendent Castañeda, and we are delighted to have you here today as your first official board meeting. Is that so? Yes. You just kind of move right along. Well, the next piece is back to you, Superintendent, to provide a brief overview of this. I believe we have the early literacy plan and legislation. So, to you, and
yeah, this
we'll
is
lead us from there. There's a little typo here for.
It will be the briefest handoff on the way down to Deputy Superintendent Olga Cobb. You also will hear, to the point of possibly being boring, my utter enthusiasm and belief about literacy as our core work. And I could not believe more than I do that rich, round, flexible literacy in at least one language totally changes lives. if you have that, you can be a creator in the world. You can find your way, you can learn new things, but you have to have that. And so that's both the responsibility that we have and also the gift we give to everyone in our schools. And the details of our early literacy plan are ones that Olga will share. The board's role in this is an important one because although tonight we're just getting an introduction, soon we will be coming back to you because as a policy body, it'll be your responsibility to take action on a framework. And this is our first real conversation about it. So I'll hand it over to you, Deputy Superintendent Kopp.
Thank you, Superintendent Castañeda, Chair Guzman Ortiz, Vice Chair Avila, Second Vice Chair Carson Cunningham. I wrote down all my new names. I love it. Student advisors, welcome. We are happy to have you here. Superintendent Castañeda and board members, we are very excited to bring you the very first pieces of information about this House Bill 3198 that establishes an expectation for school districts to have a comprehensive early literacy framework. As you can imagine, districts already have done a lot of work around literacy, and a lot of districts like Salem-Keizer have comprehensive literacy work that is being done by their curriculum departments, but these really fuels action around the state on some really specific requirements that center literacy in the partnership with families. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that, but it's we are very excited about it because we have been doing a lot of work for the past 2 years in Salem-Keizer. We have the foundations of the work, and then we will come back. This is the very first time that we'll share with you, but we'll be coming back to you many times as we put together our framework and as we organize the work. Again, it's an effort to build coherence around the state, and it's all around the governor's goals of improving student literacy. We know that as a state, we have to make some improvements, and so these provides a framework and very specific steps that will get us to improvement, and then we will have some targets to report on those improvements. Next slide, please. So the framework is built around these guiding principles. And this first one is a recognition that language really starts at birth, and it starts with those stories. It starts with the sounds that students hear, that children hear in their environments, in their home. And that is really the foundation. That oral language, that oral practice starts from the moment they are born and starts building the background in which schools will build upon later the code of reading. It also highlights that families and communities really strengthen this process because they will deepen the opportunities for students to practice literacy and to access content with the communication that happens at home and the practices that we are going to engage parents in. Also that districts, there's an expectation that every teacher, every district, and I fully believe that that it happens in Salem-Keizer, knows that every child has the ability to learn, and that is our responsibility as the adults in front of them to figure out how is the best way to teach them how to read and write so they can access content through their lives. Also that foundational skills matter. Remember, reading is a man-made code, and we have to teach that code to children in a specific order. We have to help them understand that those sounds have a symbol, that those symbols put together make words, that words put together create sentences, and that sentences together create stories. And then they have to understand the code, and they have to have meaning attached to that code for it to make sense, and later for them to continue with comprehension, increasing vocabulary, and then keep applying this learning throughout their lives so that they can be the learners that we want them to be. So we have, this is one of the pride points I feel that we have as a district. We have been working on foundational skills for 3 or 4 years. and continue to focus on this work. Remember, I don't know if you remember, we shared in this room that we have about 480 new teachers. So every time we have a new teacher, we make sure that that is a very important component of what they deeply understand so that they can help us teach a child to read and write. Next, every child must be taught to read and write. No matter what it takes, we will do everything. We will have all the appropriate resources, the interventions. We will look at data deeply so that we can make sure that every one of our students learns to read and write. That something that we are very proud of and that we have been a participant on in the early conversations with ODE around the framework is this value of multilingualism, in that students don't come to us as blank canvases. They come to us with background, with language, any language. And that oral practice is what we will start working with to help them continue learning in their language and then learning English and be proficient in English so that they can access the opportunities we have for them here. And then to do all this work well, we have to continue increasing our knowledge for our educators and then the practices that are happening inside our classrooms so that we can just get better and better at the art of teaching reading and writing. Then what's next? So again, today is just an introduction. What we're doing at the district level is we are continuing implementing the plan and elevating the critical components like foundational skills, like oral practice, some instructional strategies that help students. One of them is called oracy, and it means that we are putting in kids' mouths the language that we want them to use in English when they are language learners. We have lots of great strategies that we use and that are research-based and that are proven to help us get our students to literacy and to proficiency in their language and in English, especially in Spanish. We are continuing to create professional development opportunities for our instructional staff, and I have to tell you, we just did an incredible June Institute where we had over 800 teachers, educators, join us, and this was our focus. Our focus was foundational reading, our focus was oracy, our focus was multilingual learners, and then also math, because that's another area that we'll come back here and tell you about. That we need to have an assessment system to make sure that what we're doing is making the impact that we expect to have, that we are making adjustments depending on what students need, so that's another area of focus for us, that we are keeping parents and community engaged, and that we have a cycle of feedback with families so that they understand what we're doing in the classroom and they also understand their role in this important effort of literacy. And then, of course, the responsibility to come back and report to you on how we're doing, report on our students' progress, and then tell the community in which ways they can support us. And then on the other side, board responsibilities. First of all, we're going to bring you a literacy plan, and we're going to explain it to you and tell you how we're going to follow all of those steps, and we are hoping for approval of that plan. And then you will also support us by having conversation around resources. So when the budget times come back around, we have to talk about what are some key things needed to continue with these efforts. So that's going to be an important conversation. And then also to make connections between the results policies, our integrated plans, our goals, our targets. There are targets at 3rd grade for reading. There are targets at 4th grade for reading. So those are important conversations that will also happen in this room. Okay, I'll take any questions if you have them.
Director Chandragiri.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Deputy Superintendent Olga. Can you all hear me? Yeah. I really appreciate this. For a lot of our immigrants, we don't speak or read English, so a lot of times the children have to read and just essentially be the translator for thing. And some of our languages are tonal based. So the question I had is, will there be a phonic component, because some of the accents even I can't pronounce, let alone bring it up sooner so that the children can understand. And the second thing is there a way in which volunteers or others, like, can come and read or help boost to help scale up this program, or have community organizations volunteer after hours? Because one of the expectation is the families will read, but families are maybe multilingual potential, but may not be multiliterate. So our children lose out on the opportunity for somebody to read early. So would there be a part of this bill requirement that volunteers from the community will be able to come and read or adopt each child, each one read one, or I don't know how it'll play out, because we have 110 languages and some of them are totally different tonal language we cannot even pronounce. So how can we think of changing our policies or any potential barriers that will allow more people to come and volunteer from the community?
Yes.
Now that most of the restrictions and all have changed, right?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I pulled two questions. You tell me if I'm missing something. Okay. So you were talking about the languages that have that tonal component, and that is one of the things that teachers will focus on during foundational skills, so that students have the opportunity to understand the code in English, and teachers will pull differences and similarities between the languages. And then a critical component also there is the opportunity for oral practice. So making sure that students have enough practice that is guided by the teachers, so that they can also understand and make their comparison between the languages that they speak at home and the languages that they speak in the classroom. So yes, that's part of the foundational skills that focus that we use. And then when you were talking about reading supports, again, one of the pieces that we really appreciate that the state is elevating is that partnership with the parent and with other community members that can come in the classrooms and be readers, or we can set up goals, or we could also create literacy programs. We have now great partnerships, like a partnership with the Coalition for Equality, where we have full literacy, family literacy nights, where parents understand the strategies that teachers are using in the classroom, and then they can practice them in the school with the teachers there, and then practice them later at home. So there's a lot of that you will see as we share with you the plan, where you'll see the role of parents and us elevating the importance of the parents in the community.
Thank you so much, Deputy Superintendent. Go pass it over to Director Richardson.
Can you hear me? I just also would like for you to know that we have high school students that go to our middle schools and our elementaries and read to students and tutor them in math as well. So we want to continue to use our students, instead of them having early releases, they go and work with those students.
Oh,
yeah, Director Hudson.
Thank you. Yes, I know. Thank you. Thanks. I didn't know you saw me simultaneously raise my hand as Satya. I had the same question, so I'm super excited to hear about the phonics and the reiteration of re-implementing that and focus on and so on. I was curious, though, about the volunteering, because I know I've personally met tons of the community recently that are so eager to volunteer, and I thought, wow, what an excellent resource when we're trying to reintegrate culture, family, and all of those ethics back into our youth. So I just was curious if you could reiterate the piece that you were talking and answering with him. Do you see a possibility of kind of allowing more volunteers to come in, like the elders, whichever, to spend time reading? Okay.
Absolutely. And we will create those, and we will bring ideas. And there were some requirements we had to meet for ODE, and those were lifted as of June 17th. And so we are very excited to share with the community that we will see more and more parents, grandparents, neighbors, partners engaged in this work. And so schools will start communicating as soon as principals get back and they start planning their literacy components or their evenings. They'll communicate all of that.
Thank you.
We're excited about that
When I can-
re-engagement.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Olga. When I continue my meet and greet rounds, I will be bringing that
Please,
up too.
yeah,
but thank
yeah,
you.
absolutely. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I don't see any other questions or comments, so I'll Superintendent Castañeda.
I think I just want to do a quick process check because we're running a little ahead and we have callers who I believe are expecting to be joining us for the public comment portion in a few minutes. Is that right? So, Chairperson Guzman Ortiz, one option would be to move the break up, and then I think we'll land it pretty much on time, or another option is to continue on and wait to see if our callers join us.
Is our caller on the line yet, or could we? They haven't joined the call yet. I'd like to do the 10-minute break now, and then maybe we can just keep our agenda moving forward. We have 10 minutes available right now, so let's go ahead and do a 10-minute break, and then we'll resume at 7:20 for our public comment portion. All right, well, welcome back. We are, I'm here, everyone's here, so we'll go ahead and proceed to our public comment. At this point, just to recap, we do select speakers at random and provide an opportunity for public comment by call-in and Zoom, and have allotted 30 minutes to hear that comment this evening. Each participant has 3 minutes. Electronic mechanisms are used for translation, and we have a countdown timer on screen for monitoring that time. The timer counts down from 3 minutes, and at 30 seconds, it turns from green to yellow. At 1 second, it turns red and plays a short bell to signal that time is up. So for speakers, we do always ask to please be mindful of your pace for our interpreters. And the board received written comment ahead of the meeting, and the written comment is also posted on the district website, which you can access. One person has signed up to comment this evening, so we do expect to hear from them within the allotted 30 minutes. I'll go ahead and hand it. We're not sure if this one person has been able to join. I know we've reached out, but any updates there?
No updates, so the caller has not joined our meeting yet.
All right. Well, with that, we can move along, and if they join within the next couple of minutes, we might be able to make a quick pivot. But seeing that they're not here, we'll move on to our action items. Action item A, which includes adopt middle school language arts and social studies curriculum. So I'll hand it over to our superintendent Castañeda to review this item.
Thank you. There's so many ways that I feel really blessed to be having excellent, well-crafted batons passed off to me. You as a board have been hearing about this curriculum adoption for a while. A lot of careful work has gone into selecting these middle school options. And I won't retread the extensive conversations you've had, but I will share a few thoughts. So first of all, I do just want to say that I really do believe, especially in the area of English language arts and reading, that the selection of really excellent curriculum matters. It's the tool that teachers are using every day, and it's the tool that students are using every day. So the work of picking excellent materials matters. And we share that responsibility. The board policies that you have actually specifically call out curriculum because it is such an important part of our work, and direct us to select the evidence-based best available curriculum that meets the needs of the students that we serve in Salem-Keizer. I will also say I have had only about a week, but I have had a chance to spend some time with both the ELA materials and with the social studies materials. And on the ELA side, that is the HMH literature. It's just, I believe it's a really excellent. It's ranked at the very top of the most important rating systems in terms of quality. And it provides a very rich approach to offering students the opportunity to read and to listen, speak, to engage in text-dependent conversations and discussions. It's an excellent choice, and I am confident that with time and training, a lot of care, intentionality, this can be a real tool in the hands of our middle school teachers. I'll also just offer a few thoughts on the social studies material, which is Historia Live, Historia Viva. It is a really interesting series, and it presents perspectives from across cultures, across times. It gives students a chance to listen to and read stories, primary source materials, see charts and graphs, and really engage with a story of the standards that I think is going to be compelling to our students. So I'll thank the many stakeholders and experts who put the time in to offer these recommendations. They're very sound, and they are, I think, an excellent fit for our system. And so with that, I think I'll hand it back over to the chairwoman for.
Thank you so much. As you've stated, we've reviewed this, so at this point, we'll go ahead and take a motion for the approval. Chair it's still there. Second Vice Chair Carson Cunningham.
I would like to move that we adopt the middle school language arts and social studies curriculum.
Thank you. Is there a second?
In that motion?
All right, seconded by Director Avila. And those, how do we, just discussion first. Thank you. Any discussion on this? Director Chandragiri?
Thank you very much. I think our teams and the district did a good job of having an open, transparent, thorough process, and we were all involved in it. And I think our chair also was there, and it was available. And this is a good example of how we can do curriculum adoption, where everybody is it's open, it is transparent, and they have done a good job of thinking through it from different perspectives and allowing children to think, not think for them, but to kind of think critically from different perspective. And I really think this will be a good tool. And from what I gather, some of them are also available on an online version. And then there is also the textbook version. And hopefully, our students and the families can also have a copy of some kind of book they can borrow and go or take it home, because the parents can also sit and help them review the material and, do some homework, practice together, or at least read ahead of the children and be involved, because that will certainly be helpful. I mean, when my children were growing up, I wish I had a book like this so I could have also learned about U.S. history, because after all, this is our shared history. Whether we come in at this point in time in this country or we were here hundreds of years ago, this is our shared history, and we all have to understand the context in which the history happened. So I really appreciate a thorough process that was involved. I had a chance to talk to the teachers who led the social studies curriculum, and so I really want to say thank you. Continue to do such good, thorough, transparent process of curriculum adoption moving forward. We followed our Division 22's intent, I suppose.
Director Chandragiri, any other discussion?
I too appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm not sure how often, but I hope that we can adapt this process always in the future for more curriculum adoption for the community and the district to have a viewing. I will be very eager to see all of it when it comes available to us for viewing. I'll be very excited. But I mean, I have heard good things. I've viewed what I can, and I've heard from the community as well as far as their perspective. So again, thank you.
I have another quick thought, Chair.
All right, let's make it.
Yeah.
Let's make it quick.
So I think this is a good process, and I really feel access to textbooks or online material where families and children can access is an educational equity, because that really makes a big difference in a lot of families and a lot of communities, because we take a little longer time to understand and process and then help our children learn. So classroom alone is not enough for some of our kids who have come in from different countries or immigrants or different population. So I would hope that we have a way to make sure these textbooks and curriculum is freely available, even if it is password protected, so that more and more people can learn along with their children. So thank you.
All right. Well, with that, we'll go. All right. Director Avila has
I
a
just
comment.
want to make a reminder, accessibility is very important, but a lot of times these books are copyrighted. So we have to work within those parameters. But with the access to the internet, there are supplemental material that I believe our educators can provide for the families, and something maybe the district can help guide along those lines to be able to provide the access and knowledge to accompany the books. But yeah, this curriculum, these textbooks, really, I'm really proud of them, of how diverse and perspectives they are. So really appreciate it. Thank you for the staff that worked on this.
So just a clarifying. I was asking, even if it is copyrighted, we certainly can borrow it and take it home and parents can read. I don't think educational purposes for private education should be a barrier to copyright rules. We are not talking about distributing to the community, but to each child. So hopefully that should not be a barrier that they can't take a book home and read along with the kids. That's all we are asking.
And via parent view, like you said, right? Do we get an answer to that?
I think this is an important point and gives us a chance to notice the way that curricular materials are changing. And for a lot of us, we are used to, our model is having a classroom set of textbooks, but increasingly these materials have got very rich digital portions. So for example, if we think just about HMH, the middle school ELA curriculum, students through their devices have access to a rich set of materials where they can watch videos. Their parents can watch the videos. They can read text. There's all sorts of ways that we're going to encourage students to be interacting with their consumable workbook, which they will take home with them, and that's a workbook that they'll work on for the whole year as they move through the content. But then they can click into portions of it and experience the listening portion of literacy, the reading portion, and also to the writing portion. And this is the future of curricular resources. Increasingly, we'll be moving, I think, way as a country and as a district from this idea of a single static classroom set. And in the meantime, we just really manage these through the selection process and then through the way that teachers use these resources on a day-to-day basis to make sure that no students or families are experiencing hardship based on availability of the book.
Okay, so are you saying just online basic accessibility, or that it will be, the links will be available to them to use, the children at home, via their little student view and such?
Students will have login access to the digital portion of the materials. And so that means that if I'm a student and I go home, I can get onto my Chromebook. Is that what you use here? Excellent. Get onto my Chromebook, and I'll be able to log in the same way I do to access my other materials. So if I have a third grade student, that means that I'll be able to see, actually, let's reverse that, a seventh grade student, I'll be able to see the digital complement to the materials as a parent, as my student works at home. But it also means that the student, no matter where he or she is going to have access to the most interactive portions of the curriculum.
Thank you. I know my daughter at home, that's probably the biggest thing, and I know she's not the only one, so thank you. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for that discussion. With that, we'll go ahead and move over to a vote. So those in favor of approving the middle school language arts and social studies curriculum, adopting, raise your hand and say aye. How'd I do?
Aye.
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 All right, aye. And those opposed, please raise your hand and say aye. And those abstaining, please raise your hand. Say aye.
I think I agree. If it's
Oh, okay.
available on, sorry, I was going to abstain just because my comfort level of not being able to review, to be very honest and
Yeah.
transparent. So if I did get some more backup digitally and so on, then and again, if it is going to be rolled out to the children accessible at home too, then I'm glad I was pleased as well with what I saw. So thank you.
All right. Do we redo the vote, or how does that work?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of that. You're,
Director Hudson was considering abstaining, but is now in favor or is willing to support and vote aye. So do we?
well, I think what you do is you've already passed it with
Okay.
majority, but you can note in the minutes,
Okay.
Changed her vote after abstaining.
Okay. All right. So in that case, it finalizes as a unanimous vote overall.
Didn't actually abstain, though.
No, she did not. No.
We'll let the record reflect there was no abstention, but there was questions about what to do.
All right.
And now votes in favor.
And now votes in favor. Okay. Our board secretary is wondering what we're doing. Thank you so much, Ashley. All right. Well, no, thank you, Director Hudson. Understand that and recognize that this is your first meeting. So we are here to support and guide as well as we move forward and we learn along together. With that, on to action item B, which is adoption of the AP and IB Social Studies and Science programs. I'll again hand it over to Superintendent Castañeda if there is a review for this item.
There isn't a detailed review. Again, you guys have seen most of the process here, and I do have a sense of real confidence in what our AP and IB educators chose. This is a little bit different because it's not, these are specialized programs with materials that go with them. And so what we're really doing is updating our instructional resources so that in these content areas, our AP and IB educators have the most recent available resources.
Do we have a motion for this item? All right. Director Chandraguri.
Motion to approve.
To approve. Does he have to read it all? Okay. And then do we have a second?
A second.
All right. And then Director Richardson seconds that. Discussion. Director Chandraguri.
Thank you, Chair. I understand for APIB there is no ODE guidelines, and this is the consensus of the teachers and the faculty who came up with this. So I really trust this is a good decision they made because they really are, want to make sure that this is cutting edge and up to standards. And my hope is there enough of the curriculum material for us to scale it up if more and more students decide to choose APIB in all the high schools? And is there similar access to them outside the school so that they can review? This needs reviewing beyond school classroom because there's so much of material and a very high standard.
I will address what I think the question was, which is, are we purchasing enough to scale as the AP and IB access grows? And then the second one was digital availability beyond the hard copy resource. This initial purchase is going to cover our known needs, but the adoption, your action, allows us to buy more the moment that we see additional availability across the system. And that's part of the reason that adoption lasts multiple years, is you want to make sure you can flex according to the needs of the schools that are using those resources. On the digital resources, I actually am less knowledgeable about this one, so I am going to phone a friend to Suzanne, who is more closely involved, and she can perhaps answer some broad questions about that.
This is Superintendent Castaneda. Not all of the resources have a directly correlated digital component, but many of them do. And just as with the conversation around middle school ELA, for example, where digital resources are available, students will have access that will allow them to log in from any device at any time as long as they have access to Wi-Fi.
So will the libraries at least carry some books that they can borrow if they
Well, not all of the resources are not entirely digital, so they are print resources. So students will have books that they'll be able to utilize and carry around with them. They'll be assigned the resources that they need. In addition to that, some of the IB resources, some of the AP resources have digital components that students will be able to access remotely.
Any further discussion on this before we move on to a vote? All right.
I think just one question, if we can get a clarification of what the standard static. Apologize. Try to speak. What the standard limit of how many students need to be in a classroom to us to provide a course as an address in one of our public comments of AP Physics, I believe it was at McKay, or the lack of.
I think I can offer a few thoughts, but I want to make sure this is grounded in the reality of our system, and I am still learning. So I'm going to look in the general direction of the right side of the dais for help. But I will say that for AP and IB, there's often two limits there's two limits from two sources. The number of students we can serve. The first is student demand, and I think that might be the heart of your question. And the second is teacher readiness. And so we're always kind of trying to fit these two pieces together at the same moment. When do we have a critical mass of students with the interest and readiness to engage in a course? And when do we have a teacher with the specialized training necessary to offer it? And so I will turn the rest of it over to Suzanne to answer about the specifics of the story from last year. But do remember that sometimes just the teacher side or just the student side isn't enough to add a full section.
Well said, and I have very little to add to that other than scheduling is extraordinarily complex, especially at the high school level. And when scheduling courses at the high school level, really the calculus needs to be, do we have enough FTE, do we have enough staff to justify building a course and putting students in it. In this case, the public comment, I believe, said there were 20 students assigned to that course. We have not yet evaluated and talked to the school to see if that was accurate or learn exactly what took place in that circumstance. There could be any number of variables that impacted the ability to actually offer that class to students. So I hesitate a little bit to just speculate on what happened exactly in this situation. But bring us back to the fact that, as Superintendent Castaneda said, there are many factors that impact how we staff our classes, and for those of us who have worked in school environments, and some of us on this dais have, the process is, it's like calculus. It is just like calculus. It's very complex.
Thank you. Are we okay with tech, or do we need to take a pause? And I just recognized that we had some static and audio might be a little off. Okay. All right, we can proceed.
Just thank you for that explanation. Looking forward. Basically want to know what our process is, but thank you for elaborating.
Welcome.
Can you use your mic, please? Sorry.
Thank you so much again. So for follow-up clarification, I was asking if I could ask a humiliating question. So adopting APIB is part of this still, correct? Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Well, with that, I'll go ahead and take a vote for the adoption of the APIB Social Studies and Science programs. Those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right, those who oppose, please raise your hand and say aye. And those who abstain. Oh, I vote. Did I not vote? I voted. Was that a unanimous 7 for approval in that case? Did I see your hand? Yes. Okay, thank you. So the vote passes with a unanimous vote of 7. And I will remember to vote.
I may have. For me, it was hard. I remember.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So with that, we can move on to our consent calendar, and we're treading right along here. Do we have any items to review on this, Superintendent?
I
don't believe so. These are quite routine items, and I'll turn it back over to you in the event that there are follow-up questions from the board.
All right. This is where we just move along unless anyone wants to pull any items. Director Chandaguri?
So, one of the items I want to pull is the which Director Hyan used to ask to pull last time, the number of people who are leaving our faculty and staff, resignations this last month or so. That's one item I wanted to pull in.
All right, so then we can move through with a motion to approve consent items A and C, and Director Chandaguri is pulling B, which are the personal actions. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar except item B?
I move that we approve the consent calendar except B.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right. Well, do we do this? We vote on this and then come back and discuss on that piece. On item B. We don't have a discussion on the consent calendar, so we'll go ahead and do a vote at this point. So those who approve the consent calendar with except B, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Those who oppose, please raise your hand and say aye. And we have Dr. Changuri, and then those who abstain, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right. So we have hard. So Dr. Chandaguri opposes, and Director Hudson abstains. And with that, then we can proceed over back to item B, personal actions, and have discussion.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to see moving forward if there is a way we can have a thorough exit interview, an objective exit interview to understand the national-wide issue, why our teachers and staff are resigning and leaving. Sustainable relationship with our children and ability to be there for our children. So this may be an issue that we may have to unpack and understand. So I'm not saying we should do anything about it. And my hope is this can be looked at it matter of urgency and do a solid objective exit interview, try to understand the factors and address it. Because this has been a challenge for our teachers and staff, and this resignation makes it very hard for us to have good programs. So that's the reason I wanted to pull that and bring it to the note.
Thank you, Director. Okay. Let's go ahead and can we vote on this and then take a break? So let's go ahead and do we have a motion to approve action item B?
I move that we approve action item B.
All right, do we have a second on that? I'll go ahead and second that. That we approve the personal actions, and then do we have a vote? All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 And that is a unanimous vote. So we'll go ahead and take a 5-minute break for some static that we're experiencing. So we'll be back at 7:58. Thank you, everyone, for your patience as we figured out audio issues. Hopefully, it's all better now and sorted out. We'll continue on to our readings and discussion portion. The first is the approval of the longitudinal performance growth targets for 23-24 to 27-28. And I'll again hand this over to Superintendent Castañeda.
Thank you. This is another area where the Salem-Keizer team has just been doing extraordinary work. And I will tee this up and then very briefly I'll hand it over to Suzanne West. On this, I do want to say that I am excited at nearly the level of dorkiness about where this is going to take us. And here's the reason why. I have said to some of you, and I think you'll all hear soon, that I really believe that we win for kids when we focus on a few things and we do them as well as we possibly can, for as long as is necessary to be successful. And part of what these longitudinal performance growth targets offer us is a moment as an organization to really think about our priorities and to bring to you as a governance body the opportunity to help join us in establishing a completely clear, unmistakable set of goals that define success for our students, for our schools, and therefore for our organization. As a board, you're going to be responsible for, amongst other things, approving these as part of the state requirements. But I also want to add here, as the superintendent, that as I learn your policy structure, I see a tremendous opportunity for us to take this work, this excellent work that has already involved many stakeholders and very thoughtful development, and build it into the results policy in our governance framework. When the results policy is so clear that we all know exactly what you intend us to be focusing on, then we know how to organize our own time and resources. And it just provides a nearly magical opportunity to bring a few pieces together. Of course, in the end, it is about serving students very well, and these longitudinal performance growth targets do a really good job of focusing us on students. All right, so with that, I think I'll hand it over to Suzanne West, who will talk to us more about their development, their status, and next steps.
Thank you, Superintendent Castañeda, Chair Guzman Ortiz, Vice Chairs, Directors, Student Advisors. Thank you for giving me a little bit of time to visit with you this evening. I do want to make one minor correction to the introduction. Tonight, we're not actually approving the longitudinal performance growth targets. This is a first read. We will bring these back to you, and I'll explain what that process will look like here in just a few minutes. You see there on the first slide a graphic which you have seen previously. This graphic was developed by the Department of Education, and it was developed to help us conceptualize the idea of integrating several different initiatives into one district effort to align resources, to align strategy. This particular graphic encompasses 5 different grants and then the overall strategy of continuous improvement. The reason, as a reminder, that these particular grants and strategies are aligned is that they have several common elements, which you can see outlined there in the graphic, and they also have several common goals. And as a reminder, those common goals are well-rounded education, advancing equity, engaging with the community, and strengthening our systems and capacity, all in the service of students to improve outcomes for students. Next slide, please. So what we have done over the last several months, as Superintendent Castañeda had indicated, this has been a long process. We actually began this process more than a year ago, and it began with stakeholder engagement. We listened to more than 1,100 community members and members of the district, students, and we took all of that feedback and we used it to develop outcomes. We used it to develop strategies aligned to those outcomes, and we used it to develop these longitudinal performance growth targets. We brought to you in March draft growth targets. If you remember those draft growth targets, we had quite a robust discussion around them because there was some wonderings about how they were developed and what the process would look like with the Oregon Department of Education. We have since completed the engagement with the Oregon Department of Education. We collaborated, to use their term, we co-created 5-year goals with the Department of Education. Those 5-year goals were approved on the 22nd of June. And those 5-year goals you will see brought to you in an agreement that the Oregon Department of Education will ask you to approve that commits us as a district and commits this body right here towards a concerted effort to achieve those goals. And I'm going to explain to you in just a few minutes some constraints around those goals and what the ultimate hopes are around those goals. Next slide, please. So there are 5 longitudinal performance growth targets. Those 5 growth targets are 4-year and 5-year graduation rates, 9th grade on track, 3rd grade ELA proficiency, regular attenders. You'll note there that within our integrated plan, we also include a sense of belonging. We have these other metrics as well. We included a sense of belonging within our integrated plan because we believe that a sense of belonging, feeling safe and welcome in our schools is foundational to students being able to access their education. So we felt that it was critical for us to include that in our overall plan. I wanted to point that out because as we come back to you during the course of the upcoming school year, we will be sharing sense of belonging data. Those data do not fit in with the agreement that we'll have with the Oregon Department of Education. So I just want to call that out separately. When we look at the longitudinal performance growth targets that were co-created between the district and the Oregon Department of Education, there's a few things to keep in mind. There are actually 3 different types of growth targets for each of the metrics that you see bulleted up there on the screen. And if we'll just look at the 4-year cohort graduation rate for a minute here, the 3 different metrics that you will see associated with that, the 3 different growth targets that you'll see associated with that are a baseline growth target. That baseline growth target is what we think it is reasonable to attain over a 5-year period and annualized within a single school year. So you will see growth for a 4-year cohort graduation rate that is year over year towards an ultimate goal 5 years out. One of the constraints that the Department of Education has placed on school districts is that our 5-year metric, the one we're shooting towards for that baseline target, cannot exceed the average growth of the top 10% of school districts in the state. And that's really important for us to keep in mind because in our hearts, we want to push as hard and as fast as we possibly can to ensure that every student has opportunities in our district to succeed and move into college or career or whatever lies ahead of them. What the Oregon Department has shared with us, with all districts across the state, is what research supports, which is that improvement is incremental and that we need to set realistic goals in order for us to see the early successes that will build the momentum for us to continue going and continue to devote resources, time, effort, and our attention towards improving outcomes for kids. There is one exception to this ceiling that the Department of Education has put in place. The one exception is 3rd grade reading. So we heard just a little while ago from Deputy Superintendent Cobb that we have a literacy framework that has served us really well and that we're excited to have supported through the legislation that has recently passed. This particular growth target is going to be a stretch for us. It will be really tough for us, 3rd grade reading. The floor in this case that the Department of Education has set is that we cannot set a goal less than 34% of our students reading at benchmark. So this is different than those other metrics in that the other metrics have a ceiling in terms of growth. The 3rd grade reading metric actually has a floor that we have to achieve. Okay. So hold on to that as we talk about these metrics throughout the year. The other two types of goals that you'll see associated with each metric are a stretch metric. So as I mentioned just a little bit ago, we have heart for this work, and we want to push as hard and as fast as we possibly can to improve outcomes for students. That's our stretch goal. That stretch goal will allow us to set our sights high and aspire towards something that we would love to see for all of our kids, and the Oregon Department of Education is holding us accountable to that baseline. So the stretch is what we're aspiring to. The baseline is the accountability level. In addition to that, we have gap closing goals. And the gap closing goals are a little bit nuanced. What the Department of Education has done is they have aggregated the performance of focal student groups for our district and across the state. And they've identified metrics in order to close the gap between those student focal groups and our baseline. So when we look at those longitudinal performance growth targets, what you're going to see is that the incremental goals for the gap closing target, annualized goal as well as the 5-year goal, is actually greater than the baseline goals, greater than the stretch goals in some cases, because what we're trying to do is close gaps for historically underserved student groups that we know have not performed well in our system over a long period of time. That was a lot of information. Before I move on, let me pause here. What questions do you have at this point?
Student advisor Papas. Yeah. Do you have a green light? Okay, just get close to it.
Okay. More of a comment. I just really love how you added the integrated plan and like a sense of belonging, because I think that's really fundamental within these schools, because I feel like when students have a sense of belonging, they allow themselves to feel like connected with themselves in their school, and it really gives them it just really helps with these schools, and I really love how you guys are emphasizing that. And
Hearing that from you is very meaningful. Thank you.
Director Hudson?
Do you mind defining historically underserved? So would that be like children that fell below maybe state standards testing from the time they were maybe young in an elementary age and continue to be at that level now that they've gotten to middle and beyond?
It may. So historically underserved student groups encompass groups, for example, who are language learners, who are students of color, who are receiving services through migrant education, who are members of the Native community, who are members of the LGBTQ plus community, who are experiencing houselessness. These are students for whom our school system has historically proven very difficult for them to find success.
So it doesn't include the other kids that have continued to be below education standard for state testing for years?
Yeah,
whether they fall under one of those categories or not?
Yeah, it may if they fit within one of those historically
Okay.
Correct. For the gap closing goal, that is accurate. There's a great deal of intersectionality between many of these groups as well, so it's hard to tease out for a single student which category they may fall in terms of student focal groups. And I can give you real examples from our district where we have students who are experiencing houselessness, who are also language learners, who are students of color, and who have struggled to read in our school environment. So they fit all of those criteria as single student, and they show up in all of the metrics. But if we have a student who doesn't fit within one of those student focal groups, they would not be included within the gap closing metric.
So they wouldn't get approached to have extracurricular help and support?
That's different.
Okay.
So that's a different question, which I would be happy to dig into with Deputy Superintendent Cobb would be happy to dig into with you. Just quickly, because this is a heavy topic, and it's one that I love, so I could really spend a lot of time here. We have systems in our school that we refer to as multi-tiered systems of support, and we have data systems that allow us to identify early on when a student is struggling to learn a skill. We intervene. We use the term interventions in our school environment. We intervene for those students. We provide for them more. So they receive the core instruction that every other student receives, and then we give them more on top of that. We monitor progress. We collect data. A lot of time that intervention works. And after a period of time, the student no longer needs that intervention. In some cases, it doesn't. And so we intensify the intervention. We take it even further. And we go through an iterative process with students until we reach a point where we either find what works and we're closing gaps for students, or we activate what we refer to as child find, and we acknowledge that the student may have a learning disability that is actually impacting their ability to learn, and then we look at other factors that we may need to support the student with. That process is in place for every student in our system. These goals that we're talking about were identified by the Department of Education because if you look at data not just for Salem-Keizer, but across the state and across the nation, we can predict with near certainty which student groups will be successful in our school systems and which won't. So this is the Department of Education's effort to push us to make sure that our systems are accessible for all students and that all students are finding success.
Okay, so the definition of historically underserved is from the ODE.
Correct.
And I do look forward to following up. I have many questions, and I have many direct examples. Thank you.
Thank you. I do see your hand, Dr. Tunguri, but because of time, I do want, and I know that there's a couple more slides that Dr. West has to cover, so I'd like us to get through those and maybe a few more questions or discussion after that, if that's okay.
One more slide, and I'll be brief. So the district has some responsibilities that we need to follow through with. We have to execute the integrated plan activities and strategies. We plan to do that. We have a really good team wrapped around this to help us and support us with that execution. We need to monitor progress per ODE guidelines. We need to have internal assessment cycles that will help us do that. Those internal assessment cycles are what we will use and leverage here in this space as we come back to you and share our progress towards these goals. And also the district has a very important responsibility to adjust our strategies as the data support. So as we're collecting data, as we are implementing strategies, as we are monitoring our own progress, we know that we will need to make small adjustments along the way. We will need to have conversations around what's working and what's not. That adjustment process is built into this larger ODE process. So we'll be working with the Department of Education on a regular basis to look at our data, to evaluate our strategies, and with their support, adjust as we need to. For the school board, you also have some very important strategies or responsibilities. As I said, we're going to bring an agreement back to you here shortly as soon as we receive it from the Department of Education. That agreement that we bring to you and we will ask you to approve will require of us and require of the school board that we actually follow through with the things that we said we're going to do and strive towards the longitudinal performance growth targets that were co-created between the district and the Department of Education. In order for us to have a chance to be successful with that, we need some things from the school board. We need board goals aligned with our strategic and our integrated plan. We need a resource focus and allocation that supports the goals that we put up there previously. And we need a results policy, as Deputy Superintendent Cobb indicated before, that includes these metrics so that with your support as a district, we can remain laser focused on the few things that we know will move the dial for students. So with that, I will turn it back to you, Chair Guzman-Ortiz.
Thank you, Dr. West. With that, we'll have a few minutes for discussion before we move on to the next item. I'm going to try to pronounce this right this time. Director Chandragiri.
It's very easy.
I just have to slow down.
Letters, it adds up. That's all Indian languages. Thank you very much. So what I'm hearing, Dr. West, the way the OD wants us to do is to have a bottom floor for third grade reading. Is that going to be like a cutoff for all communities and all groups, irrespective of intersectionality of difficulty, and so that we can all strive to close the gap to at least the bottom floor?
For Salem-Keizer.
For Salem-Keizer.
Okay. What that means is that as a district, when you look at our aggregate, we want to see a minimum of 34% of third graders reading at benchmark. That will mean that we will have some student focal groups that are reading at a higher level, and we will have some student focal groups reading at a lower level. We'll have individual students higher, we'll have individual students lower. It's an average.
So the bottom line, like 34%, will be like a new gold standard minimum flooring for all communities and all groups.
Not necessarily, well, yes. Ideally, we would like to have every student in our system at or above
At or above minimum
benchmark.
34, correct.
At a minimum, we need 34% of the students in our system reading at or above benchmark.
So that becomes like a measurable goal when we come to results policy or a goal. Is that what you're saying?
That's absolutely what I'm saying.
All right. Thank you.
Superintendent, yeah.
I will be brief. I just want to share that this gift of these targets is clarity. The gift that our team brings to these targets is commitment, skill, and optimism. And if we don't quite make it to all of them, but we make such spectacular progress that it will be a success story for the nation. These targets are actually remarkably aggressive. And that's what makes them inspirational. But as a group of leaders and those who support schools, and as a board that holds us accountable, I just want to see the ways in which these targets will hold us in a balance. Balance between optimism about what's possible and really tracking the hard day-to-day work that makes that progress. There may be points where we don't achieve everything we want, but achieving the progress that you expect is what makes these targets powerful, and also I think gives a real monitoring tool, the tool belt of the board, as you consider incorporating.
Thank you, Superintendent. I think just for my comments, I thank you also, Suzanne, for covering this. I know we've seen a glimpse and we'll hear more. And so I also heard that there might be some lingering questions, and we recognize that that might be the case. So if there are questions, either direct those to Superintendent Castañeda, or that way we can prepare for the next meeting as well, and just make sure that everyone understands. But there is more to come. And with that, we'll go ahead and transition over to our next, I lost my agenda here, to our next item regarding Salem-Keizer Children and Adolescents Wellness Program. And I'll hand this over to Superintendent Castañeda to kind of brief us and transition us.
I'll transition us to someone you haven't seen in a very long time. And I'm confident that she is adequately prepared to answer all of our questions. Former Superintendent Perry.
Good evening, Superintendent Castaneda, Chair Guzman Ortiz. It's so good to see you tonight. Student advisors, it's nice to have you here. I did have a chance to turn around to your parents and say, you're going to have such a learning year here. So really, your voice matters. So be sure to speak up when you have thoughts. All right, so a little closer to the mic. This one is not as hot as the one I used to speak into so loudly. Is that better? Okay.
Better.
All right, so I am here tonight to, I had a few projects on my list in the last few months, and one of them was around a Children's Day Education Center. So I'm thankful to be here tonight, even though I'm kind of like bothered that we need this. but you've heard a lot about the mental health challenges for some of our students, and especially the gaps that we are seeing in Marion County. We did a presentation, I don't remember which month it was, around the complex student needs. And one of the real gaps was for some much more intensive mental health support for some of our kids. It's not a lot of our kids, but it is some of our kids who need an intensive environment. So that is what I'm here tonight to share with you. If you would be ready looking at page 30 in your board packet, that's the online page 30. There is an MOU that I'm going to ask you to look at tonight as a first reading. But I am going to start with some kind of background of how we got here and who our partners are at the table. So our Children's Day Education Center is a public-private partnership. I feel super fortunate that we have private donors in this community that come forward and say, we want to do something. It started with a conversation with both Mountain West and the Eppings on the exact same day when they said, we're hearing a lot about some really complex challenges in your schools with some student behaviors, and we just wonder what we can do about it. So it's Mountain West Investment Corporation, MWEC. Remember, they're the same partner with CTEC. And then the Larry and Jeanette Epping Foundation, and then Salem-Keizer School District. We've modeled this after some of the work we did with CTEC, and Paul Dikopoulos has been helping us with this overarching MOU. So the way it works is our private benefactors are thinking about the property and the location. Salem-Keizer will provide education in this center through some funding, through long-term care and treatment dollars through Oregon Department of Education. We hire the staff for education. And then our other partner is Trillium Family Services, and they will provide a full day treatment program for kids at a site where they get treatment, and then we come alongside with education. So it is an intensive treatment program for kids. So the mental health that Trillium will provide, they do the selection of the kids. So I want to be really clear about this. We don't have the control as education in a treatment program to place kids. Trillium manages the student selection process because it's determined by medical necessity. And medical necessity is how they get to insurance, because we don't pay for the mental health component of this program. So students selected and managed by Trillium. Trillium bills, both public and private. That is what we appreciate about Trillium as a partner. They provide individual therapy, family therapy, skills groups, and trained staff support through just 5 to 7 hours of time in this treatment program. The property purchase and the renovation, Mountain West Investments, Larry and Jeanette Epping Foundation, through a new partnership that's going to be called MWEC Epping. They have agreed to purchase and renovate up to $2 million of a property that they have located on our behalf. I've been working with a realtor and the due diligence at that site with Mountain West Investment primarily. Eppings are super engaged, but they haven't done a lot of purchase of property in this way. So property has been located at 10,327 River Road Northeast, way north, further north than we were hopeful for, but it is on a little over 8 acres. It's a 17,000 square foot building, 850 square feet of outdoor covered play area. It was formerly used by Jervis School District, and it is located in the Jervis School District. It, most recently has been as part of the Archdiocese, and the St. Bosco High School is there. You walk into this school and it looks a little bit like they left in March of 2020 and didn't come back. So there's a few religious artifacts that will need to be removed before we would have this program there. But other than that, it's a really pretty great site. It's a nicely built, like a small elementary school. It has 5 classroom areas, gymnasium, kitchen. The gym's nice. The only real challenge from a facility perspective is there are 2 sets of modulars that are not able to be used or renovated. So those would have to be removed from the property. So it's was kind of a find, even though it is located in Jervis School District. I have been working with the superintendent in Jervis School District. In fact, I was sure she knew about this tonight and had the background information because it just creates a couple steps for us in the process for them to say, hey, Salem-Keizer, we need you to provide the education component of this. And they have done that already. The property is under a purchase sales contract. Right now we're set, and this may have been adjusted just overnight, but we're expected to complete the due diligence on the property, we meaning Mountain West and the Eppings, by July 26th. They've done all the due diligence that we would need as a school district to put children back into that site. But tonight we're looking at an MOU between Salem-Keizer, MWEC, Epping, and then you as the board of directors. And this is that kind of overarching MOU for you to give us the authority to move in this direction, and then the school district steps in with the operational components of execution. So in the MOU, which again Paul has helped us craft, provisions look like this. Salem-Keizer to provide a mental health and behavioral supports through a day treatment program. They don't want to have a MOU with a private partner. They want it just to be with Salem-Keizer. So the way it would work is we would do a MOU district to Trillium for the operation of the treatment center. The nice thing about that is that it allows the district flexibility if in the future a different treatment provider needs to be selected. But Trillium is about the only provider in the area who provides this sort of a comprehensive treatment program, and they know this work really well. So the duration of the MOU is 5 years. The private partners have agreed to do up to $2 million. I think it's going to come in a little bit higher than that, so we'll have to decide who else could come in to help support the project. The one thing that MWEC and the Eppings are asking for is that we have a liquidated damage clause in the contract that if we don't operate a treatment center there, if we choose to do something else with it, which we know the need, so you likely wouldn't choose something different, that there's a 50% liquidated damages. So you would be on for about $1 million if you choose to do something different with the property. And then the provision is that they would donate the property at the end of the 5 years. And in the meantime, some sort of a lease agreement for us to provide education and Trillium to provide treatment in that program. So that's kind of the provisions in your packet. There's lots of legalese in the document, but I would encourage you, if you haven't had a chance to read through it, I've done the high-level overview of what some of the terms and conditions are, but I would encourage you to read it over carefully because it is a 5-year commitment. And finally, you have one responsibility, and then the district has quite a few after that. Finalizing the lease, developing an MOU with Trillium. We have a draft lease that Paul and I've got to do a little more work on. We're in the initial stages of a MOU with Trillium. We are needing to oversee the due diligence on that property. We're just getting those final reports in now. we have our application in for the long-term care and treatment dollars. We already have received an initial approval, but there'll be some more steps with that. Then when we get all of those things in place, it's hiring the education staff. And then one of the really key things our partners have talked a lot about is some sort of a governance structure that isn't a school board governing it, but more of a community mental health-based governance structure. So my goal will be to also kind of get that in place. The opening date, fingers crossed, would be in January of 2024, which seems really a long way, but it's an amazingly fast timeline for a project such as this. So with that, I'm going to pause and open it up for questions. This is tonight only a first reading, and if you have more questions after, certainly get them to Superintendent Castaneda, and she'll forward them on.
Yes, Director Avila.
Sounds exciting. Thank you. Can you talk about transportation? Would that be provided by the district? And
Yeah.
then also on Trillium, you said they're one of the very few. I mean, how were they selected, and are they culturally respectful or culturally responsive to parent needs of these children?
So, second question. Well, what was your first question? Sorry, I got stuck. Transportation. Yes. So, wherever the student comes from, so this will be a regional model because they choose by medical necessity. So there could be and likely will be students from other districts as well, and they will. Every district has a responsibility to transport to the site. So that will be part of it. The second part of your question, there was a group of kind of an overarching group that began meeting probably in about end of February or so. And we had Polk County Mental Health, Marion County Mental Health, the Coordinating Care Organization, Willamette ESD. There's about 7 others that we kind of sat around and started to talk about the need and who was the provider that could meet the need. The second part of it is that they have to have a parent component and family component as well as part of their treatment model. Will they have, we'll have to watch really carefully because we'll have some ability through our lease with Trillium to think about how do they respond to families with different languages and cultures. And so that will be part of those kind of that governance structure and that ongoing conversation. And that's why I think it's really important that the district kind of leads from a community-based governance structure.
Director Carson Cunningham, had a question or comment?
I had a couple questions. This sounds really exciting. Thank you so much for all the work on this. So how are the kids referred to Trillium? Like if the district doesn't make the decision for placement, how does that look in real life?
So we've actually successfully navigate these already as a district. And so sometimes it will happen that a parent through already potentially a mental health therapist gets access. But we've also done this with parents where we know what the need is. They may be seeing a private healthcare or public healthcare provider, even one tied to our site, and then we will pick up the phone with the parent and help navigate. So we can't place, but we can help navigate. And we already do this with the Children's Farm Home down in Dallas, or down in Corvallis, Polk Adolescent Treatment Center in Dallas, and then there's a couple up in the Portland area that we already kind of help navigate. And that's the important part of having highly trained special ed case managers, school counselors, school principals, and then between Chris Moore and Melissa Glover, they really kind of keep an eye. We're really talking about a small group of kids with very complex need, and we know who they are. So.
My second question, which was, what are we doing now? So it sounds like we're having to send kids
Other
quite
places.
a ways away to get this type of care and treatment and education.
There is no day treatment, partial hospitalization, or residential program in Marion County. If you look at the map, it's a little bit of a treatment desert for kids. It's super disappointing in the capital city.
Yeah, thank you. This is going to fill such a critical need, and I think it's really amazing that it's coming together. My final question would be, do you know how many educators we'll need in the building?
We'll need, the grant requires 1 educator per classroom. So we'll need 3 educators, and we're not immediately looking at a special education educator because kids there aren't all students with disabilities. So 3 education licensed staff, a half-time special education staff member, and then with the rest of the grant between classified and administrative support. And we believe the grant will cover those fully, other than we may keep the half-time special education teacher as part of the Gen Fund.
Thank you. Yes, Director Chandragiri.
Superintendent Perry, thank you very much. I remember the early days when we met in Epping's office, and I'm glad that it has reached this far, and this is a much needed gap. Thank you for taking it this far. This will be a great help. I have 2 questions from a structural point of view. This is a much needed help for us. Now, as we are developing this MOU, the question is, we will be contracting with Trillium, and Trillium will provide. Does this day treatment component need any state licensing inspection for facility? So do we have to get that approved? Because if we get into a lease and we start the renovation and then the state decides to become a barrier, then it shouldn't hold, and then we become financially responsible.
We've already had Oregon Health Authority out on the site. They have been out there with Trillium, with our realtor from Mountain West, and with our construction team. And so they have said, here are, out of looking at this site, here's the requirements, and then here's the nice to do on the site. So Oregon Health Authority has already been out there, and Trillium knows how to navigate that.
The second piece to the question is, the Trillium will be billing the private insurance and Medicaid. Will that be financially sustainable to run the day treatment part of the treatment program? Or what kind of budgetary impact it would have on Salem-Keizer budget to supplement to run the program? Or, the billing alone is enough to sustain it? And if so, can we continue for the duration without incurring the financial 50% liability, or morphing the program and then becoming liable?
That is how the contract works with Trillium, that they're fully responsible for the mental health component, and they are a private business, and they wouldn't be asking to open another treatment site here if it wasn't financially sustainable for them. So we will not accept financial responsibility for them. Their biggest struggle is in the startup. So it's in the building. It's in renovation of a building. It's finding a place. And then we're kind of looking around to see what are the lease arrangements. And especially in the beginning, as we're making sure the site is up to what we want it to be for kids, there's going to be some conversation about, in lieu of lease, can you put in a play structure? Can you, those sorts of things. So they are a private business, and they know how this works.
So we will have a direct MOU with Eppings and MIVIC?
Yes. The Salem-Keizer School Board will have an overarching MOU with MWEC Eppings, and then the district will initiate a lease with this organization. They'll initiate a lease with Trillium, and the long-term care and treatment grant will all be kind of district functions.
So the liability for if anything happens to our children, treatment complication, will rest on Salem-Keizer School District or School Board or district in this entity, even though children may come from other districts, correct?
Well, that's an interesting question, because for any students with abilities. Because this treatment program is located in Jervis School District, the free and appropriate FAPE, free and appropriate public education, actually rests with Jervis School District. So they are a bit nervous, but at the same time, they know that asking Salem-Keizer to do it, that we have the ability to pull this off. It would be the same if somebody opened a youth treatment center on Hillcrest, which isn't located in Salem-Keizer. If that opened up as a treatment center, regardless of us having any MOU with them, the kids placed at that site would be Salem-Keizer education.
Will that be spelled out clearly, because in the MOU piece or an addendum to the MOU that protects the private donors and protects us? And
yeah, the private donors have actually reviewed the MOU already, and their legal counsel has reviewed, so they believe they have the provisions they need in this MOU at this time. Multiple attorneys on their side.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to note that we're at 8:53 and our goal is to conclude at 9 because we have our interpreters until 9. So we can make a few more minutes for questions, but we'll probably have to exclude our board reports at the end of this meeting since we don't have time. So I just want to kind of say that and then pass it over to Director Hudson for a question.
Much. So do you mind clarifying what determines the amount of time that a child spends there? All day, partial days?
So at the site, at a day treatment site, they spend whatever the hours of the day treatment. They attend full-time initially. But the length of time depends on their treatment plan and how they progress in their treatment plan. So kids, the goal is into service, get treatment, get skills training, and then move back to education. And so in a regular school district. And the general length of stay is 60 to 90 days.
Okay, and what are the hours of operation? Do you know that yet?
Don't know that yet.
Okay, so it could be beyond regular school hours, or do we think it'll probably lie
It'll be
around that?
between 5 and 7 hours a day.
Okay.
So about the same as regular school.
Okay, and then they're bused from their homes or from their home
From their
school?
homes.
Okay.
And just for clarity, we're talking K-12 ages.
We're talking kids ages 5 to 17, 3 classrooms, an elementary, a middle, and a high school classroom. Our private partners are very interested in that if we can't get all 3 started at once, that we start with elementary.
Thanks for joining us this evening. We are going to have to conclude this piece, but as you said, this is the first reading here, so.
A huge thank you to both the Eppings and Mountain West investment. Like, to have a community that thinks like this and cares is pretty awesome.
Amazing, and thank you for all the work you've done and put in. And are going to continue to put in.
A thing or two.
Yes, thank you so much, Christy. All right, well, with that, we'll move on to our information and standard reports. I'll hand it over to Superintendent Castañeda. Is there anything that you'd like to highlight here?
Given the late hour, I think I'll pass and try to bring us in right at 9.
Great. All right. So and you can review this in your board package just for those who might not be too familiar. You'll find the written reports in there. We have 5 minutes. Is anyone really pressed to share anything regarding, let's be very specific just for time, committee assignments or activities of the board related to youth programs and school district activities? So that's kind of what we're narrowing it down to. Anyone calling once, twice? All right.
I went to Marion County Fair, and I really want to appreciate our students who participated in the FFA program. It was good. It is an amazing program, and they were really excited to have. At that time, I was not a board director because I was, my term had ended on June 30th, but I still showed up and said, "You're still our students," and so I really appreciate that opportunity to do this. And I also want to thank all of you for, this is a historic opportunity. I was sharing with Director Richardson, and welcome Superintendent Castaneda. This is a really historic opportunity for our community, And I thank all those who came to support, and Director Richardson, thank you very much for stepping. And Director Hudson, thank you.
Thank you so much. I look forward to working together. Thank you.
Thank you. And oh, go ahead, Director Richardson.
I want to thank you for acknowledging the moment. Willie Richardson was the first African American to serve Salem-Keizer School for over 30 years. Died recently this year, but she is one of the that and run for I accept honor.
Thank you. Yeah, it is an honor to serve, I will say. So with that, let's go ahead and in celebratory terms here, conclude and adjourn this meeting. First meeting of our superintendent, Andrea Castañeda, welcome. And on to many more. All right, 8:57, we are adjourned.
Good job. Good job with the hand.